Hi, I'm Willie and welcome back to my channel. I've gone through all of the video submissions for the 5,000 subscriber giveaway for our IT moments, and I also went through some of the email, and I have to tell you, as an IT professional, it was very difficult for me to narrow this down, so I had to bring in some non-IT professionals to give me a little insight. And I did manage to get it down to 3 that I'd like you to vote on. If you didn't make the final 3 this time, don't worry. That 10,000 subscriber giveaway will be rolling around, hopefully in the next couple months. And then I do have an honorable mention, and I wanted to mention it because it struck a chord. It wasn't wholly IT related, but it was still a moment. So let's take a look at these, and then we'll talk about what's coming. So the first submission we have is from Will Chrisman, and he says, a lifetime ago I was an assistant IT director of IT for a school system. The district had hired a new facilities manager in the fall who was pushing for drastic changes in energy consumption, which included converting all HVAC systems to centralized computer control. Fast forward to Christmas break when I'm bombarded with pages. Backups failed, systems inaccessible, eventually no pings. I rolled to the site, went to the server room, and found it filled to the light switches with water. Did I mention that it was also very, very cold? Mr. Scrooge, in an effort to save energy and reduce operational costs, thought that he had turned the heating settings in the building down to a reduced temperature. Instead, he turned the heat off. The pipes froze, the room flooded, and everything was destroyed. Thankfully, I had a full backup set off-site from the night before, so it was just a matter of trying to order an entire MDF full of equipment on New Year's Eve. Scrooge was terminated. That is definitely a moment that, as an IT person, when your room is underwater, that is a horrible sinking feeling. I remember back in 2013, I rolled into work, and when I walked in, I remember there already being workmen in the building, and I remember going to my office, and the carpet was soggy, and I walk into the server room, and the floor had split, and we had so much rain that water was coming up through the middle of the IT room, and we had to have somebody show up, knock a hole in the floor, put a sump pump in. So I've been there. I know it's crazy. All right, so this next one is from Gladmo2, and I belly laughed at this, and I hope you get a kick out of this too. So Gladmo2 says, I work in frontline support with 8 or so other people. We like to educate each other on the dangers of not locking your workstation when leaving your desk. We will do this by usually changing the desktop background of the perpetrator's workstation. Well, this new guy had left his workstation unlocked, and I was the first to spot it. So in less than a minute, I completed my Google search and set his new desktop background to a photo of a fully grown man dressed as a baby. I then scurried back to my desk and continued working while simultaneously trying to control my laughter. A few minutes had gone by when I received a call from one of my other coworkers with a client who wanted to speak with a manager. That was the most senior moment of the team there at the time. Turns out my new coworker was actually connected to one of our client's computers at the time of the incident. This means that I had in fact not changed my coworker's desktop background to the relatively large man baby, but in fact changed one of our client's desktop backgrounds. I kept the caller on hold for the first minute while I looked desperately for an escape route. Once I had figured out that wouldn't work, I took the call, apologized repeatedly, said the individual responsible would be disciplined, and successfully shifted the blame onto no one in particular. The weeks that followed involved all of my colleagues announcing to me that they were leaving their workstations and they were going to lock it before I changed another client's background. This was a few years ago, and people still talk about this. I've seen that in practice too. Haven't had it spiral out of control like that. Sorry. So that's rough, especially when you're a managed IT services company. That they could go south on you quickly. The next submission is from Eric Moody. Eric says, my shit moment started when I was working for a very poor school district, and it was only my first year on the job, and I was still in college. We were moving from Windows XP because security support was ending. So I was slowly imaging each of the administrator's XP computers with Windows 7. Each person I went to, I asked if they had anything on the computer other than the typical files. They said no, and I copied their profiles and then imaged the computer. I had one administrative secretary, though, come back and say, I think you gave me back the wrong computer. I simply replied, no, you have the correct one. She stated, then where is QuickBooks? No one said anything about QuickBooks. Well, needless to say, I was a little upset, but I was also calm, thinking they would obviously have backed it up. Nope, no digital backup. The entire budget for the whole district had been deleted. They had to re-enter it all from paper backups. It was an exciting day. So now when I do things of that nature, I do my due diligence and make an image of the computer before I do anything else to it. Live and learn. If you've ever worked with me, you know how over the top I am about backups. Data is not really backed up unless it's in 2 or more places, preferably 3. So in an enterprise situation, especially working with virtual machines, you'll probably notice I do a replication of the entire virtual machine, and I do an on-site and an off-site backup at the file level too. If you've got the bandwidth and the resources to do that, that's fantastic. If you don't, you can find other ways to make it work. Eric, I appreciate that. We've all lost files and have, I'm sure, not been able to recover them, and we know what a sinking feeling that is. That is definitely an moment. And the next one is kind of an honorable mention because I read it and I said, oh, it's the context is, you know, it's somewhat IT but not IT driven. So let's just talk about this real quick. From Darren Martin, and he is our honorable mention. His story goes like this. My IT moment was a bit crazy, so here goes. Was doing SAP patching over a weekend and things went south badly as a patch partially installed and blew up our production instance. So I phoned my boss and he hangs up on me. I phone back and he hangs up again. I'm getting pissed off, so after about 5 tries his wife answers and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And she says, Dave just had a heart attack. He is on the way to emergency in an ambulance. So as I was phoning, he was trying to phone out and I almost killed him. I'm happy to say 20 years later, he's still my boss and a great friend. That is definitely an moment. I want to thank everybody for submitting. Please, if you are watching this video, please vote for the top 3 stories. And then the winner, if you select the Edge Router X, then we have another viewer who's also going to ship you a UniFi APACLR to go along with that. Otherwise, if you pick the Edge Router or the USG, that will be the only thing that you are getting. I am going to hit you with quite a few videos this week, and the next one is going to be the Beyondtech cables because I really want to show these off. So you will probably see this tomorrow. But please come back and vote. Make sure we're voting. On Wednesday, we will crown the winner. So I want to thank you. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. And we'll see you at the next video.